Talk to God about the prophecy. Keep talking to God about the prophecy. If the prophecy is called to unfold in your life, you're going to still be talking to God about the prophecy even while it's unfolding already, because there's always more information. Here's an example. You receive a prophecy that someone is your spouse. You need to take that to God to understand if that is true or not. Then you need to talk to God about the steps on preparation. Once you meet that spouse, you need to understand how God wants you to handle that spouse, how God wants you to pray for that spouse. What trauma do you need to address? Once you get married, you must still talk to God about that prophecy being fulfilled, because you must understand the purpose of that marriage. And for the rest of your life, you're going to talk to God daily about that marriage to understand how does God want you to cultivate that marriage, because the marriage is for God and it benefits you. If you receive a prophecy that you're going to be a millionaire, you must take that to God to understand how that is going to unfold. You must understand the people who are giving you these prophecies. Are they receiving these prophecies from God, or are they getting this information from demons? Because we must not be impressed with accuracy. Demons can be accurate. They are not always deceptive. This is where humans get manipulation from. Because there has to be some sort of truth for you to keep on choosing what is against God. So this is what you do with every prophecy. You don't just hang on to it because it sounds good. There are so many prophetic words on social media about your spouse is coming, your spouse misses you, your spouse desires you, your spouse is sad, you're feeling your spouse's emotions. Well, you're not going to know when it's your time, actually. There's many different reasons why God is allowing you to hear that prophecy. To understand that prophet, to understand yourself. You're going to go through a lot of healing. You're going to understand your maturity level. And a multitude of things. It's never just one thing with God. Just as every single natural thing has more than one benefit, God has a multitude of benefits. It's always multi-lessons. So, let's say that you hear a prophetic word on social media and it says your spouse is coming tomorrow. Well, it's not just meant for you to be excited that your spouse is coming tomorrow. You must talk to God to see, how do you prepare? Is that even true? What does God want you to talk about? If your spouse is coming tomorrow, that doesn't mean that your spouse is coming to marry you or even commit to you. There's a whole different level of healing once you come into the knowledge of who your spouse is. And every single time that God brings you together with your spouses, and every time that God allows a long time separation to happen between you and your spouse, it's all for evolution purposes. It's very important to seek God first for everything. Matthew 6:33 does not just say that for no reason. This is the foundation that every Christian needs to live their life on. So many Christians, including leaders, lean on their own understanding and do not seek God for things. With any advice you get, take it to God, because so many people are going to give you an example of what they believe. It is very rare that you align with someone who is not going to speak what they believe at some point. Not what God told them, but what they believe. I love you, and most importantly, God does too. I am a spiritual advisor. I help people understand all areas of life. In every session, I only tell people what God tells me to say. I don't play with people live. I've never been the type of person to just give people my opinion since I've known God, since I've been consistent with God. I've never been that type of person to just want to give my opinion. I strongly believe in individuality. So many people wonder if they can hear from God on their own, what do they need someone else to teach them about God for? The Bible has many Bible verses about how necessary it is for a multitude of counsel. The Bible has many verses about not neglecting fellowship, how important it is for us to come together as humans. God speaks through humans as well. There are some things that God is not going to tell you directly, but God is going to use a human to say that to you. You appreciate that human more, and just a multitude of reasons why God uses humans. In the description area, you will see all the different ways that I help people. The description area is under my video. You will also see my email address for you to schedule a session with me. I have a few playlist recommendations of videos that I've done, all categorized for you. However, it is best to go to my YouTube channel directly because I have over 900 videos available for you to listen to. I have way more playlists than the ones that are in the description area. Last but certainly not least, you can access all of my social media accounts through one link in the description area. Thank you for listening, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for praying for me, and thank you for sowing into my ministry. If there's anything that you would like me to make a video about, comment that, and I will take it to God to see if that is something that God wants me to address. You take it to God as well so that you do not delay yourself from receiving information from the best source to get information from. Even if God wants to use me to relay that information to you, there's nothing greater than seeking God for everything first.